Mr Speaker.
Chester Borrows.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. The National Party will be opposing this bill, and it does so from a position where, much as it would be very happy for councils to utilise the powers that they currently have to be able to decide to have specific Maori seats, it doesn't believe that this should be legislated for. Communities should decide whether they have Maori seats and not the government, and no one will be too surprised to find that that is a National Party take in respect of this bill. The key messages behind National Party policy in respect of this is that good local government is essential for our communities, our economy and our environment, and the National Party national values having an honest and open working relationship with the local government sector. And we recognise that there can't be a one-size-fits-all approach to local government, and hence the ability of local governments to be able to choose from themselves to be able to include specific Maori seats. The purpose of the bill is to require all territorial authorities and regional councils to establish Maori wards and constituencies to provide for Maori representation, and this will be achieved by amendments to the Local Electoral Act 2001. The general policy statement accompanying the bill controversially asserts that there is a requirement to establish Maori seats arising from the Treaty of Waitangi. This is not currently an accurate reflection of the state of New Zealand law. The general policy statement accompanying the bill says that the number of Maori seats is to be calculated from total population as opposed to electorate population data inverted commas, because 40% of the Maori population is under 18 years and therefore excluded under the current formula, close quote. This is inaccurate, as the current formula in Schedule 1A of the Local Electoral Act 2001 and also in the Bay of Plenty Act uses Maori electoral population as defined in the Electoral Act 1993, and this Act defines Maori electoral population as meaning, quote, a figure representing both the persons registered as electors of the Maori electoral districts and a proportion of the persons of New Zealand Maori descent who are not registered as electors for any electoral district, and a proportion of the persons of New Zealand Maori descent under the age of 18 years, close quote. The government's decision regarding Maori representation in the new Auckland Council recognises that there is already provision in the Local Government Act 2002 and the Local Electoral Act 2001 for specific recognition of the position of Maori. Under the Local Electoral Act, councils have the power to decide to have specific Maori seats, and voters by referendum are able to require this of the council or to change a council decision on that matter. And many of us on this side of the House who happen to find ourselves voting against this piece of legislation or this proposed bill are of a mind that they would much rather see that be the process, and we would encourage and we would applaud the move of local constituents to vote in this way. But don't believe that in New Zealand in the 21st century we should be legislating for this. Rather, we would hope that people were wise enough to be able to see the need for it on their own without having it imposed on them. Under the Local Government Act, there must be a consideration given to Maori views. Under Section 81 of the Act, councils are required to take steps to provide opportunities for Maori to contribute to decision-making processes, including fostering ways of developing Maori capacity to contribute to decision-making processes. And we believe that given the opportunity that councils currently have to be able to have separate Maori wards if they want to the requirement to be able to consult with Maori, then there should be no need then for people to pat Maori on the head, make special courses and open special doors for them to get in the way that this bill would prefer that they did it. The Local Government Auckland Transitional Provisions Act 2010, which is the third piece of legislation required to implement the government's decisions on government's arrangements in the Auckland region. Part 7 of the Act will establish an independent statutory board whose purpose it is to promote cultural, economic, environmental and social issues of significance for mana whenua and Maori Tamaki Makaurau, to assist the Auckland Council in making decisions, performing functions and exercising its power. Mr Speaker, I want to make the point once again quite strongly. Much as we would love to see a situation in this country where Maori representation was willingly attributed across all local governments, it is not the National Party position that we should be legislating for it in this way, and we will not be supporting it. Thank you.
Speaker.